Thanks, Lindsay. I really wish I could have gone before the tours. I will do my best and just remind you that what I'm about to tell you is an example of the power of SV2. 1 in 3 households in California today is completely broke, meaning they have zero or negative net worth, nothing to fall back on in hard times, and in many cases a deep financial hole to dig out of. Opportunity Fund is a nonprofit, mission-driven financial institution that aims to do something about that. Our customers are people who live their lives outside of the financial mainstream. We serve working people of modest means, and our goal is to help them move out of and stay out of poverty. So who am I talking about? Well, I want you to imagine that you're a young parent who just got laid off from your job with a company that does building and grounds maintenance at high-tech companies. No one else was hiring, so you started your own landscaping business. You've hustled and you've been able to build up a small clientele. And you know that if you could borrow just $3,000 to buy some more mowers and trimmers, that you could hire 2 friends and you could double your business. So where do you go for the $3,000? Well, your credit card has a maximum limit of $1,000 and it's already maxed out. You don't own a home to borrow against. And the loan size that you seek is way too small for a bank to even consider, not to mention the fact that you have a mediocre credit score and only 6 months in business. Yet if you could get this loan, you could create 2 jobs and increase your family's income. And you could pay it back. Or let's say you're enrolled in junior college and you're working towards an AA degree in hopes of transferring to a 4-year university, like our client Kiara shown here. You're working 2 jobs in addition to your studies, and you've already maxed on every kind of financial aid you can find, including student loans. And yet you still have trouble paying all your bills at the end of the month. You have the feeling that if you just knew how to manage your money a little better, or if you were able to save up a little bit of a cushion, you could make it through and get your degree. But who's going to teach you how to manage your money and how to save? These are examples of why low-income working people need a place like Opportunity Fund. Because the mainstream financial system, apologies to any bankers in the audience, it's just, mainstream financial system can't meet their needs and can't help them get ahead. Mainstream financial firms aren't able to make money doing business with our clients. And as a result, let's be real, they don't want their small bank accounts, they can't make them the small loans they need, and they really aren't looking to give them the advice that they need on how to manage the small amounts of money they have. In fact, most of the private sector financial firms that do want to do business with our clients are out to rip them off with payday loans, tax refund anticipation loans, and subprime auto financing. Then there's Opportunity Fund. We make microloans to hardworking entrepreneurs who can't get bank financing. And we offer an innovative microsavings account to help people who aren't entrepreneurs save for their future. With this combination of microlending and microsavings, we've grown to become the largest microfinance institution in California. We've helped thousands of families build a life of dignity, and we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars into low-income communities in our neighborhoods. Okay, so how did we get here? Well, I finished up at Stanford Business School back in 1992, dating myself, and I'd never heard of microfinance or the Green Bank or any of that. Never heard of social enterprise. I don't think the term existed. What I did know was that local banks had a problem complying with a federal regulation called the Community Reinvestment Act, or the CRA. And the CRA says that banks aren't allowed to just do business with the wealthy people in their communities. They also have to provide financial services to poor people. Now, I had a background working in low-income communities before business school, and now I had my MBA, and I thought maybe I could help the banks with their problem and at the same time do something for the hardworking people I cared about most. So I started a for-profit company called Lenders for Community Development to pool capital from banks and invest it in low-income people and their enterprises. And Lindsay already mentioned the old name. That was what we were called when we got the grant from SV2. We changed the name to Opportunity Fund a few years back. We tried to make a go of it as a for-profit company. But even with a very lean cost structure, we found that we would have to charge our microloan clients an average interest rate of about 50% just to break even. Now, interest rates that high are very common in international microfinance, but it just didn't feel right for the US context. So we decided to keep our interest rates lower and convert the company into a nonprofit. in the hopes that philanthropic donors would be moved by our mission of economic empowerment to support the work. Our other hope in becoming a nonprofit was that we could scale our savings program, which relies on fundraised dollars to match our clients' savings so they can save faster and stay motivated to save. We started our savings program because not everyone can or should start a business with a microloan, but everyone has the potential to save. Yet millions of Americans don't, and as I mentioned, 1 in 3 households in our state has 0 or negative net worth. So just quickly, how our saving program works is that our clients first enroll in a financial education course, and once they complete that, they can start to save. Donors like you match their deposits, encouraging them to save more and more, and to hang with the program through the financial ups and downs that everyone encounters, especially low-income people. After they've worked with us for 1 to 3 years, they can use their savings plus the match to acquire meaningful assets like paying for an education, or they can set the money aside to shelter them from future financial hardship. We converted the company to a nonprofit in 1999 when our budget was less than $1 million and we had 5 staff. We had no one on staff or the board with any fundraising experience, and we were making about 30 loans a year and just getting started with the savings. Our bank investors were still supporting the organization, helping us make payroll and keep the lights on, but they were getting restive. Even though our loans were performing well, we desperately needed some new sources of financial support. And that's when SV2 came along. In 2001, SV2 selected us as a grantee, and we received a $120,000 grant for general operating support for 3 years. It was by far the largest grant we'd ever received and the first for general operating support. And it was a game changer. We used the money to hire our first ever development staff person, who is still with us 11 years later. And we also used the money to purchase our first actual big-time accounting software, because up until that point we were basically running a bank on QuickBooks. The grant helped us to invest in growth, and it gave us confidence that maybe we really could raise money to support our work. So I want to especially thank the early members of SV2 who were here, who chose to believe in me and our small organization so many years ago and gave us that general operating support. Today, a little over 10 years later, we have a staff of 50, a $7.5 million operating budget, and we're serving 1,400 new clients a year with microloans and microsavings accounts. We've shown, and that we is a lot of people, not just me, we've shown that our particular brand of social enterprise works at scale to bring economic opportunity where it's needed most. Our clients have gone on to build businesses, hire thousands of local employees, buy homes, send their kids to college, and measurably increase their household incomes. We are reducing poverty for the long term, one family at a time, on an unprecedented scale in California and the nation. So I want to thank SV. I also want to thank 2 of my board members who are here, Ash McNeely and Pat Krakoff, who Ash is an existing member. And I want to thank SV2 for believing in us 10 years ago, and I hope that you all feel like this was a very successful investment for you. Preparing to talk with you all tonight has given me the opportunity to reflect on my experience of having SV2 support and the uniqueness of high engagement philanthropy. Opportunity Fund got our grant in 2001, 11 years ago, and I think I've made it to almost every annual meeting since then. I look out across the audience, I see so many familiar faces, many of whom we got to know or to know better through SV2. I want to give the example of Mark Parnes, who we connected with through SV2 and who has connected us with just hugely valuable amounts of pro bono legal advice from Wilson Sonsini over the years. We're a complex organization with a lot of legal needs, and they have been there for us like you wouldn't believe, and that's a direct result of SV2. I know that you often talk about helping your grantees beyond the dollars, and in my experience, it's the network of SV2 that has been the most powerful part of being part of this, and we're so grateful for it. You've helped us to transform lives, create jobs, and fulfill lifelong dreams. We have big plans for the future, including expansion into Southern California, and a new initiative focused on savings for at-risk high school youth that you'll be hearing more about. And we look forward to remaining a part of the vibrant SV2 community. So thank you very much.